Believed to be a fairy tale, the warship showed up in combat. The galaxy had grown quiet in many places, but some systems were still dangerous. People spoke of a warship that no one had seen in decades. Some said it was only a fairy tale, a story parents told their children to explain why humanity had survived so many threats. Others whispered that it was a secret weapon, hidden, and waiting for the right time. No one could say for sure. On the outer rim, in a small human colony called Arden, life was simple, but tense. The planet's people lived under the shadow of raids from alien forces. They were mostly miners, engineers, and traders, not soldiers. Every week, scouts from other systems warned them about fleets moving near the borders. People grew used to fear. A young officer named Luke Mason worked at the colony's defense center. He was not old, maybe 27, with short brown hair and eyes that seemed to watch everything. Luke had grown up listening to stories about the old warship, about how it had once defended Earth in battles no one could forget. His grandfather had fought on it and told him about its strength, speed, and the strange way it seemed almost alive. Luke's colleague, a woman named Claire Harper, stood beside him as the monitors blinked warnings. Claire had sharp eyes and quick thinking. She had joined the colony's defense team a few years ago, leaving a life on a peaceful settlement on a nearby planet. Now, she was always ready to react to anything. "Another fleet sighted near the Varnus system," Claire said. Her voice was calm but firm. "They are moving fast. They could reach us in 2 days." Luke looked at the blinking red dots on the screen. "That is close. Too close for comfort. We have only a few patrol ships here, not enough to stop a fleet." Claire nodded.
I know.
"That's why we need to contact Earth Command. They might have backup. Maybe the old stories are true. Maybe someone remembers the warship." Luke smiled slightly. He didn't fully believe in fairy tales, but hope was something that always lingered. If it's real, it will be too late by the time it arrives. We need a plan. Far away in the cold vacuum of space, the alien fleet moved silently. Their ships were strange, with sharp angles and glowing engines. They had attacked other human colonies before, leaving ruins in panic. Their leaders were ruthless, and their soldiers followed orders without question. This fleet, called the Kryn, had never met organized human resistance like this. They expected humans to flee or surrender. Back on Arden, the colony council gathered in the main hall. People of all ages crowded the room, listening to the leaders. Governor Ellen Reed, an older woman with gray hair and a calm voice, addressed them. "We face a threat that is unlike anything we have seen in years," she said. "Our scouts report a fleet heading this way. We have limited defenses. But we also have hope. Hope that the human spirit will not break. We will prepare our ships, strengthen our defenses, and do everything we can to survive." A young boy named Danny, who had wandered into the hall with his sister, whispered to her, "Do you think the warship is real?" His sister Lily shrugged. "I hope so. Grandpa used to tell stories about it." Luke and Claire worked through the night, coordinating patrols, checking weapons, and sending messages for help. Communication with Earth was slow. Messages could take hours, sometimes days, to reach the command center. Every second counted. The sky above Arden was dark. The twin moons reflected a pale light on the colony's metal buildings. Luke stood on the observation deck, looking at the stars. His mind wandered to the stories he had heard as a child. The warship was said to be huge, powerful, and able to strike faster than anyone could predict. It had defended humanity in battles long ago, when people thought humans were weak and could easily be conquered. Claire joined him, her hands resting on the railing. "You're thinking about the warship again, aren't you?" she asked. Luke nodded. "I can't help it. Every time we're in trouble, I think about it. What if it's not just a story? What if it's out there, waiting for the right moment?" Claire smiled slightly. "Even if it is, we can't rely on stories. We have to act. We have to prepare. We can't let fear decide for us." The next morning, the first signs of the Kryn fleet appeared. Small scout ships moved into the planet's orbit, scanning and probing. People in Arden watched from the streets as alien shapes appeared in the sky. Panic spread, but Governor Reed stayed calm. "Do not panic," she said over the colony's communication system. "We will defend our home. Everyone who can help must do so. We are humans. We survive." Luke and Claire led the defense teams, guiding ships to patrol routes and preparing ground defenses. Engineers worked on energy shields, weapons, and communication relays. The colony was not large, but every person contributed. As the alien scouts approached, strange transmissions came through the colony's signals. The Kryn tried to communicate, demanding surrender. Their language was harsh, sharp, and mechanical. Luke studied the messages and responded carefully. "We will not surrender," he said, pressing the send button. "We are humans. We will fight." The aliens seemed to pause, surprised by the response. Humans rarely resisted with such determination. Most fled or surrendered. But Arden would not. Arden would stand. In the distance, a small group of ships appeared from a nearby system. They were human, but older models, lightly armed and worn. Luke recognized them as part of the colony's militia fleet. They were brave, but outmatched. Claire looked at the approaching ships. "They won't last long against the fleet. We need more help." Luke nodded.
"I'll send another message. Earth Command must know what's happening. Hours passed."
The alien scouts tested defenses, firing warning shots and probing weak points. The colony's shields held, but barely. People huddled in shelters, listening to the distant hum of engines and weapons. Fear and hope mixed in the air. Then, a strange signal came through the colony's communication network. It was faint at first, almost like static, but it grew stronger. The monitors showed an unknown ship entering the system. Its shape was massive, unlike any human or alien design they had seen. It glowed with faint blue lights, and its engines moved with a silent precision. Luke stared at the screen. It can't be. It has to be a story. Claire looked over his shoulder. It matches the description. Could it really be? Governor Reed's voice came over the communication system. "People of Arden, do not lose hope. Reinforcements have arrived. Prepare yourselves. Humanity has not forgotten its warriors." The alien scouts noticed the massive ship and stopped their maneuvers. They scanned it carefully, sending reports back to their main fleet. Confusion spread among the Kryn forces. They had never seen a ship like this. They did not know how to respond. On the observation deck, Luke and Claire watched in awe. The warship moved with grace, aligning itself perfectly with the colony's position. Its weapon systems glowed faintly, ready but silent. The old stories had come alive before their eyes. "Do you think it will fight for us?" Danny asked, his small face pressed against the observation glass. Lily held his hand. "I think it will. Grandpa always said it appears when humans are in real danger." The colony prepared for the first contact. The warship, silent and immense, was a reminder of humanity's past victories and its potential. Luke realized that stories were not always just stories. Sometimes they were warnings, lessons, and hope. The Kryn fleet began to retreat slightly, unsure of how to handle the new threat. Humans in Arden felt a renewed courage. They had not expected rescue, but now it had come. The warship was real. It was here, and it was about to change everything. As the sun set on Arden, casting orange light across the colony, people gathered to watch the stars. They whispered among themselves, amazed and hopeful. For the first time in a long time, they felt safe. For the first time, they believed that humanity's legend was alive, moving among the stars, ready to defend them. Luke and Claire stood together, feeling a mix of fear and hope. They had seen many battles in simulations and training, but this was real. The warship had come, and the fight was about to begin. And somewhere deep inside the warship, lights blinked and systems hummed. It had waited long, hidden in space, silent and unseen. Now it had chosen its moment. Now it was awake, Humanity, long thought weak by other races, was about to remind the galaxy why it should never be underestimated. The first chapter of the new battle had begun. Arden was safe for now. But the war was far from over. The stories had been true. The warship existed. And in the coming days, every human would see that legends were sometimes real. And when they appeared, nothing could stop them. The warship hung in space above Arden like a giant shadow, silent but full of power. Its blue lights glowed softly, and its massive hull reflected the light from the twin moons. Luke Mason could hardly believe his eyes. The ship was bigger than any human vessel he had ever seen. Claire Harper stood beside him, her mouth slightly open, staring at the monitors. "They've never built anything like this," she said quietly. "It's perfect." Luke shook his head. "It's more than perfect. It's a legend, and it's here for us." The alien fleet, the Kryn, had stopped their advance. Their smaller ships hovered in orbit, scanning and communicating in sharp, mechanical sounds. The Kryn leaders did not know what to do. A human ship this large and powerful was not supposed to exist. In their calculations, humans had only small fleets and limited technology. On the colony's main command floor, alarms blared as sensors detected the alien fleet adjusting formation. Governor Ellen Reed stood at the center of the room, her calm presence giving everyone courage. "Keep your teams ready," she said. "We do not know what they will do next, but we have hope now. Humanity is not alone." Luke and Claire worked quickly. They guided the colony's patrol ships to positions near the outer edge of the planet's defense grid. The humans had only a few armed ships, older and slower than the Kryn vessels. But the warship's presence changed everything. From the bridge of the warship, a deep voice came through the colony's communication system. It was steady and strong, almost alive. "Humans of Arden," the voice said, "we are here. We will defend you. Prepare to follow my commands. Together, we will stop this threat." Luke felt a shiver run down his spine. The voice was calm, confident, and commanding. It gave him courage he did not know he had. The Kryn fleet fired first. Small energy blasts streaked through space, striking at the colony's outer defenses. The shields held, but the blasts shook the buildings and sent sparks flying from the energy generators. Citizens screamed and ducked for cover, but the walls and shields kept them safe. Luke pressed buttons on the control panel. "Return fire! Target their lead scouts. Don't let them get closer." The colony's patrol ships responded, firing their small cannons. Some shots hit, some missed. The Kryn ships moved fast, dodging and weaving through the attacks. It was clear that the humans could not hold them for long. Then the warship acted. Its massive cannons glowed bright, and in one smooth motion it fired. A beam of energy shot across space, striking the lead Kryn ship. The impact shook the enemy vessel violently. Sparks and debris flew in all directions. The smaller ships around it faltered, unsure of how to respond. Luke and Claire gasped. It's incredible," Claire whispered. The warship's beam moved again, striking another group of Kryn ships. Within minutes, several enemy ships were disabled or destroyed. The Kryn fleet paused, confused and alarmed. They had never faced a human ship like this. Governor Reed smiled faintly. "That is humanity," she said. "Not weak, not defeated. We survive." The battle continued. The Kryn sent faster ships to flank the warship, hoping to overwhelm it. But the warship moved with surprising speed. Its engines allowed it to twist and turn in ways that seemed impossible for its size. Luke realized it was more than a machine. It had strategy, intelligence, and awareness. Claire called out orders to the patrol ships. "Cover the planet. Don't let any ship escape to the surface. Focus on protecting civilians." The human ships worked together, guided by Claire and Luke. They were small, but their determination made a difference. The aliens were strong, but they were not expecting humans to fight like this. Every human action was precise, every move coordinated. Above them all, the warship fired again. Its weapons struck multiple Kryn ships at once, sending them spinning out of control. Energy shields flared and collapsed, smoke trailing from damaged hulls. The Kryn began to retreat, but the warship did not allow it. Its massive engines pushed it forward, cutting off escape routes. Luke's hands shook slightly as he guided a patrol ship to block an enemy vessel. "We can do this!" he shouted. "Stay with me." Claire followed him closely. "We won't let them win." On the ground, civilians watched in awe. Children clung to their parents, their eyes wide as the battle unfolded above. People whispered about the warship, about the legends coming true. Fear mixed with hope. Humans had survived before, and now they were seeing why. The Kryn fired back with larger energy blasts. One hit the colony's outer wall, shaking buildings and sending sparks flying. Alarm sirens blared. Engineers ran to repair damaged generators, shields, and weapon systems. Luke's voice cut through the chaos. "Keep firing. Don't stop. We can hold them with the warship." Claire's eyes were fixed on the monitors. "Look, they're trying to regroup. We can push them back if we stay coordinated." The warship moved closer to the largest group of Kryn ships. Its massive cannons fired again, striking multiple vessels with deadly accuracy. One of the alien ships exploded in a bright flash, sending fragments spinning into space. Others followed, retreating in fear. Luke felt a rush of excitement mixed with fear. He had never been in a real battle, only simulations. Now, he was seeing the true power of humans when they were united. The warship was not just a machine, it was a symbol. The Kryn fleet tried to regroup and call for reinforcements, but the warship anticipated their moves. It fired again and again, striking with precision. Several enemy ships were disabled, forcing the Kryn to retreat farther from Arden. Claire shouted, "They're breaking! They're retreating! We're winning!" Governor Reed's voice came over the communication system. "Humans of Arden, the first victory is ours. We have held the planet and shown our strength, but remain vigilant. This is only the beginning." Luke looked at the monitors, seeing the alien fleet scatter. "We did it," he said, though his voice was quiet. "We actually did it." Claire smiled, though her eyes were still sharp. "Yes, but this is just the start. They will return. They always do. But today, we survived." The warship hovered above Arden, silent and calm. Its lights glowed softly, and its massive presence was reassuring. It had shown humans that they were not alone. It had reminded them of their strength. People in the colony cheered, some crying, others hugging. The battle was not over, but hope had returned. The warship had turned fear into courage. Humans realized that they could fight, even against overwhelming odds. Danny and Lily watched from a safe distance, their eyes wide. "It's real," Danny whispered. "The warship is real." Lily nodded. "And it's helping us. We're not alone anymore." Luke and Claire stood together on the observation deck, watching the alien ships retreat into space. The warship had done more than defend Arden. It had shown humans that legends were real, that when the time came, humanity could rise to any challenge. "Do you think they'll come back?" Luke asked. Claire looked at him seriously. "Of course they will, but we will be ready. And we have the warship now. Nothing is impossible." The night sky over Arden was calm again, but the stars now held a different meaning. They were no longer just distant lights. They were reminders of battles fought, victories won, and legends that still lived. Somewhere in the warship, systems hummed quietly. Its engines were ready, its weapons charged, and its mind alert. It had chosen to act for humans, to defend them when all seemed lost. Luke realized that the warship was more than a machine. It was hope, courage, and strength, all in one. Humanity had been underestimated for too long, and now they had a powerful ally to remind the galaxy of their might. The Kryn would not forget this battle. They had seen human courage, and they had seen the warship's power. Every alien ship that returned home carried stories of defeat and confusion. The humans were no longer weak. They were a force to be reckoned with. On Arden, the colony prepared for the next phase. Repairs were underway, defenses strengthened, and messages sent to other human colonies. Word would spread of the warship and the victory. Hope was no longer a dream. It was real, alive in the hearts of every human who had witnessed it. Luke and Claire watched the warship in silence. They did not need words. The ship had done what humans could not alone. It had reminded everyone of the truth. Humans never give up, and when they rise together, even legends come to life. The stars above Arden shone brightly, reflecting the courage of those below. And somewhere deep in space the warship waited, ready for the battles yet to come. The morning after the first battle, Arden was quiet but tense. The Kryn fleet had retreated into the depths of space, leaving the humans with a fragile peace. Repairs were underway on the colony's defenses, and engineers worked tirelessly to fix the patrol ships that had been damaged. Luke Mason and Claire Harper were busy coordinating the work. "We can't just wait for them to come back," Claire said as she checked the communications panel. "They will return with more ships, stronger forces. We need to plan, and we need allies." Luke nodded. "The warship has already shown us we can fight, but it won't do everything. We have to act together. Maybe we can track the Kryn and cut off their reinforcements." Claire's eyes lit up. "That's exactly what I was thinking. If we can strike their supply lines and small fleets first, we might stop a larger attack. The warship can guide us." On the observation deck, Luke stared at the stars. The warship was silent, floating above the colony like a sentinel. Its massive size was both inspiring and terrifying. He still could not fully comprehend its presence. "It's incredible," he whispered to Claire. "It's like it's alive. It knows what to do, and it chooses to protect us." Claire nodded. "We just have to follow its lead. Humans are strong, but we need it right now."
Meanwhile, in the Kryn fleet, the alien leaders were in chaos.
The humans had fought back with unexpected skill, and the warship had destroyed several of their vessels with ease. The Kryn had underestimated humanity. Now, their generals were planning a larger attack, but fear had entered their calculations. "The humans are stronger than we thought," one Kryn leader hissed. Its voice was sharp and metallic. "Their fleet is small, but the warship, it is unmatched. We must strike together or we will lose more ships." Another leader responded, "We will gather reinforcements and strike back. Prepare the full fleet. We will crush the humans, no matter the cost." Back on Auden, Luke and Claire studied the sensors. The Kryn fleet was regrouping, but they were scattered. This was an opportunity. "We have a chance," Claire said. "If we move fast, we can catch them before they are ready. The warship can guide us through." Luke took a deep breath. "Let's do it. This is our chance to show them humanity is not weak." The warship began to move, slowly at first, then with more speed. It left Arden's orbit and followed the Kryn scouts into open space. Its engines glowed blue, leaving trails of light behind it. Luke and Claire led the colony's patrol ships behind the warship. They were small and outmatched, but courage gave them strength. As they approached the Kryn fleet, the humans could see the full scale of the alien forces. Hundreds of ships, some massive, some small, spread across the void like a dark storm. The humans were only a handful, but the warship's presence made the difference. Luke felt a mix of fear and excitement. "We're really going to fight them in open space," he said. Claire's voice was steady. "Yes. And we will show them what humans can do." The warship fired first. Its energy beams struck a cluster of Kryn ships, disabling their engines and sending debris flying. The smaller human patrol ships moved quickly, taking advantage of the confusion. They fired their limited weapons, targeting ships that were vulnerable. The Kryn responded with fury. Their larger ships fired beams and missiles, hitting the patrol ships. Sparks flew as shields were hit, but the humans dodged and counterattacked, following the warship's lead. Luke piloted his ship through the chaos, feeling the adrenaline of battle. "Stay close to me," he shouted to the nearby patrols. "We move as one!" Claire guided her ship, firing at enemy vessels. "Focus on their weak points! Watch the flanks." The battle raged across the stars. Explosions lit up the darkness as ships collided, shields broke and engines failed. The warship moved like a giant guardian, striking with precision and speed. It destroyed one group of Kryn ships, then another, always moving forward, never pausing. For the first time, humans were not just defending, they were attacking. They had taken the initiative, and the Kryn were struggling to respond. Luke realized that courage, unity, and strategy mattered as much as firepower. But then, a new threat appeared. A massive Kryn ship, larger than anything the humans had seen, emerged from the shadows. Its hull was dark, and strange energy fields surrounded it. It moved slowly but with deliberate power, as if it were a predator stalking its prey. Claire gasped. "That's enormous. We can't take it head-on, not even with the warship." Luke felt a chill. "We can't let it reach Arden. We have to stop it here." The warship adjusted its course, moving toward the massive Kryn vessel. Its engines glowed brighter, and its cannons powered up. Luke could see the calculations it made, the careful targeting of weak points in the enemy's design. "Follow its lead," Claire said. "Trust it." The humans moved together, small ships darting around the warship as it engaged the massive Kryn vessel. The battle was intense. The warship fired beams, missiles, and energy pulses. The Kryn ship's shields flared, absorbing hits, but the warship was relentless. Luke piloted through debris, dodging attacks while firing at exposed engines. "We have to hit it here!" he shouted. "Aim for the engines!" Claire followed, firing her weapons with precision. "Keep moving! Don't let it target us directly!" The massive Kryn vessel responded with powerful blasts. One hit a patrol ship, sending it spinning into space. The crew was shaken, but the humans continued. Their courage did not waver. They had the warship guiding them, and that gave them hope. Luke noticed a pattern in the enemy's movements. "Claire! It's moving predictably. If we coordinate, we can strike its weak points together." Claire nodded. "Do it! We can't wait any longer." The patrol ships moved into position, surrounding the massive Kryn vessel. The warship fired a concentrated energy beam, hitting the ship's central core. Sparks and explosions erupted. Luke and Claire aimed at exposed engines and weapon arrays. The combined human attack was precise and deadly. The massive Kryn ship staggered, its shields failing in parts. The humans pressed forward, attacking with everything they had. The warship fired again, striking the heart of the enemy vessel. A blinding explosion lit up space as the massive ship broke apart, fragments spinning into the void. Luke and Claire cheered, though they were exhausted.
"We did it!" Luke shouted.
Claire smiled, her hands shaking slightly. "Yes, we actually did it. We beat it." The remaining Kryn ships retreated, their formation broken. They had seen human courage and power, and the warship's might had terrified them. Humans were no longer weak in their eyes. Governor Reed's voice came over the communication system. "People of Arden, the humans have struck back. Today we have shown that courage, strategy, and unity can defeat even the strongest enemies. This is our victory. But the war is not over. Remain vigilant." On Arden, civilians celebrated. People hugged and cried, amazed at what they had witnessed. The warship hovered above, silent and calm, a guardian watching over them. Luke and Claire stood on the observation deck, looking at the stars. "It's incredible," Luke said. "We actually turned the fight around. I never thought humans could do this." Claire nodded. "We can do anything when we work together. The warship is amazing, but it's also showing us what humans can achieve." Danny and Lily watched from below, wide-eyed. "We're really safe now?" Danny asked. Lily nodded. "For now. But we have to keep believing. Humans can fight, and we have the warship." The warship moved silently, scanning the area. Its engines hummed, weapons ready, systems alert. It had acted to protect humans, and it had done so with intelligence and precision. Luke realized that it was more than a ship. It was a symbol of hope, courage, and strength. The Kryn would not forget this battle. They had lost a massive ship and several smaller vessels, all to humans they had thought weak. Their calculations had failed and their pride had been shattered. Humans, however, had grown stronger. They had seen what they could achieve together with courage, strategy, and the warship guiding them. They were no longer just survivors. They were warriors. As night fell over Arden, the stars seemed brighter. Humans had taken the first steps in a new war, one where hope, courage, and unity would guide them. The warship had shown them the way, but the humans had taken action. Luke and Claire knew that this was only the beginning. The Kryn would return, stronger and more determined. But humanity had learned a valuable lesson. They were not weak, they were not helpless, and when they fought together, nothing could stop them. The warship remained above, a silent guardian, waiting for the next challenge. And humans, inspired by its power and by their own courage, were ready to rise. The galaxy had underestimated them for too long. Now it would remember. The stars above Arden shone like cold diamonds in the black sky. After the victory over the Kryn's massive ship, humans on the planet felt a cautious relief. Repairs were still underway, and engineers worked day and night to strengthen the colony's defenses. But Luke Mason and Claire Harper knew the danger was far from over. "They will return," Claire said, looking at the radar screens. "And next time, it'll be with everything they have." Luke nodded, tension in his jaw. "I know. But we're ready. The warship is with us. And now, we have courage. Humans will fight." The warship hovered above Arden, silent but alert. Its engines glowed faintly, and its massive hull reflected the light of the twin moons. Citizens of Arden gathered to watch it, whispering in awe. Some could hardly believe it was real. Others could not stop staring at the ship that had already saved them once. Then, far in the distance, the Kryn fleet appeared. Hundreds of ships, larger and more powerful than before, moved toward Arden. The aliens had learned from their previous defeat. They were determined to crush humanity once and for all. Governor Ellen Reed addressed the colony over the communication system. "People of Arden, the enemy returns. We have seen their strength, and we have seen their fear. We have the warship with us, and we have each other. Stand strong. Fight with courage. Humanity will not fall." Luke and Claire took their positions on the bridge. Luke's hands moved quickly over the controls. "All ships prepare for battle." "We follow the warship. Trust it. Trust each other."
Claire nodded. "This is it."
The real fight begins. The Kryn fleet attacked without warning. Energy beams streaked across space, striking at human patrol ships. Explosions lit the void as smaller ships were destroyed or disabled. Arden's shields glowed under the strain, absorbing the impacts of the first salvo. The warship moved into the center of the battle. Its engines flared with blue light, and its massive cannons fired with deadly precision. A beam struck a cluster of Kryn ships, breaking their formation and sending several vessels spinning into space. The Kryn were taken by surprise. The humans had survived their first attacks, and the warship's power was unlike anything they had seen before. Ook piloted his patrol ship with steady hands, moving among the larger vessels. "Follow my lead," he shouted to the nearby ships. "Target their weak points! Stick together!" Claire fired her weapons at an approaching Kryn destroyer. "Focus fire!" "Don't let them flank us!" The humans attacked with coordination and precision. Each move was guided by the warship's calculations. It directed ships toward weak points in the enemy's formation and highlighted openings for attacks. Even the smallest patrol ships could strike effectively when led by the warship. But the Kryn had a surprise. From behind the main fleet, a massive dreadnought appeared. Its hull was larger than any ship the humans had seen, bristling with weapons and energy shields. Its presence shifted the balance. The dreadnought fired, sending a wave of energy toward the warship and the human fleet. Luke gritted his teeth. "That's bigger than the last one. We can't take it head on." Claire's eyes narrowed. "Glares? We won't. We attack smart. We follow the warship." The warship engaged the dreadnought. Its engines flared and its massive cannons fired in a continuous stream. Energy beams struck the dreadnought's shields, testing their strength. Finding weak points, the Kryn ship fired back, but the warship moved faster. dodging and countering with deadly accuracy. Luke followed the warship's lead, guiding patrol ships to strike exposed areas on smaller Kryn vessels. Claire targeted weapons arrays on another group of ships. The humans acted as one unit, coordinated, brave, and precise. Explosions lit the dark space like fireworks. Shattered hulls drifted in all directions. The Kryn fleet struggled to maintain formation. Their dreadnought fired again, but the warship anticipated its movements, striking weak points with deadly precision. Luke shouted over the comms, "Keep moving! Don't stop! We can do this!" Claire's voice was steady, though her hand shook slightly. "We will win! We fight together." The warship shifted its strategy. It moved directly toward the dreadnought, firing a massive concentrated beam. The energy struck the center of the enemy ship, breaking its shields and cracking the hull. The dreadnought staggered, firing wildly but unable to respond effectively. Luke and Claire pressed their attacks, aiming at the vulnerable engines and weapon systems. The smaller Kryn ships tried to protect it, but the warship's fire was relentless. Within moments, the massive dreadnought exploded in a blinding flash. Fragments of its hull scattered across space, and the Kryn fleet's morale broke. Governor Reed's voice came through the communication system, calm but firm. "Humans of Arden, the enemy fleet is retreating. You have shown courage, unity, and strength. Today we have defended our home, and we have reminded the galaxy that humanity cannot be underestimated." The Kryn ships fled, their formation destroyed. They had faced humans who fought with courage and a warship that was more than a machine. Every ship that returned carried tales of defeat, confusion, and fear. Humanity had proven itself. On Arden, people poured into the streets, cheering, hugging, and celebrating. Children clung to their parents, wide-eyed and amazed. The warship hovered silently above, a guardian watching over the colony. Luke and Claire watched from the observation deck. Luke felt a mix of exhaustion and relief. We did it. We actually did it. Arden is safe. Claire smiled, her eyes glistening.
Yes, but it's more than that.
We showed the Kryn that humans fight together. We showed them courage. We showed them hope. Danny and Lily stood nearby, staring at the warship. "It's real," Danny said softly. "It really is." Lily nodded. "And it saved us. Humans can do anything when we work together." The warship's systems hummed quietly. It had acted with intelligence and purpose, protecting humans and leading them to victory. Luke realized that it was more than a machine. It was a symbol of hope, courage, and strength. As the sun set on Arden, the colony repaired its defenses and prepared for the future. The warship remained above, ready for any threat. Humans had learned a powerful lesson. When they worked together, courage and unity could overcome any enemy. Luke and Claire stood side by side, looking at the stars. "We survived," Luke said quietly. "Yes," Claire agreed, "and we will survive again if we have to. We have each other, and we have the warship." The citizens of Arden gathered, sharing stories of bravery and resilience. Word of the battle spread to other human colonies, and hope began to grow across the galaxy. Humans were no longer seen as weak or helpless. They were warriors, united and strong. The Kryn had underestimated them, and the cost had been high. Humanity had risen to the challenge, led by courage, strategy, and the mysterious warship that seemed almost alive. Luke and Claire knew that the war was not over. The Kryn would return, and other threats might arise. But they also knew that humans were ready. They had the courage, the intelligence, and now the symbol of hope that could not be defeated. The warship hovered silently above Arden, its massive presence a reminder that humanity had allies beyond imagination. Its engines glowed softly, ready for the next challenge. In the streets, people celebrated into the night, singing, shouting, and embracing. For the first time in years, they felt safe and proud. Humanity had survived, and humanity had won. Luke looked at Claire, his eyes reflecting the stars. "We will never forget this. We will tell everyone about it. About the warship, about Arden, about us." Claire smiled, a quiet but strong smile. "Yes, And the galaxy will remember too. Humanity is not weak. Humanity is strong, united, and unstoppable. The warship, silent and immense, remained in orbit, its lights glowing like a promise. It had protected humanity, led them to victory, and reminded them of their strength. Humans had fought together, and for the first time the galaxy saw them as more than survivors. They were defenders, warriors, and legends in the making. Luke and Claire watched the stars, knowing the future would bring more challenges. But with courage, unity, and the warship at their side, humanity would never fall. The Kryn would return, perhaps with greater strength, but humans had proven a truth that could never be erased. When humans rise together, no enemy can withstand them. And somewhere deep in the warship, systems hummed and lights blinked. It had acted to protect humans, and it would continue to do so. Humanity had been saved, the galaxy had been reminded, and the legend of the warship had become real. The stars above Arden glimmered as if celebrating the triumph. Humanity had survived, humanity had fought, and humanity had won. For the first time, humans looked to the stars not with fear, but with pride, hope, and the certainty that when the time came, legends could rise again. And the warship remained silent, immense, and eternal, a guardian for all humans, a reminder to the galaxy that humanity could not be defeated.